This video is here to support and help you understand the aims of a sheep and goat visit carried out by the Rural Payments Agency. It would look at how you can meet the current regulatory requirements and deliver the best for your farm and animal health and welfare.
Hello, my name is Ben Hastings. I've been a field officer for the Rural Payments Agency for around 20 years. You join me here at Spring Hill Farm on the beautiful Northumberland coastline. Today we're going to be looking at how the RPA carry out sheep and goat visits to help you prepare and understand should you get a visit in the future. All livestock visits, whether they're cattle, sheep or goats, are regulatory and the RPA have a legal duty to complete them. So this means we can only give you a maximum of 48 hours notice from the initial contact from the field officer. The field officer will explain the full requirements of the visit.
For the first part of the visit, we'll look at your movement records and complete a check based on the last 25 to 50 movements, off and on to the holding, or up to a maximum of 3 years worth of movements, whichever applies to your holding.
Hello everyone, so we're back here with Farmer Christina. We're going to go through the DEFRA holding register just to give you an idea of obviously the checks that we do on the day. So I'll try and keep it very, very simple and explain them. So movements can be recorded in many ways. They can be in the herd register or flock register. They can be on a simple Excel spreadsheet. They can be on a third-party software package, obviously online, or they can be reported and recorded on the livestock information system, as long as they all follow the regulatory requirements and ensure the correct format. So the first part we're going to do, we have a list of your last 25 to 50 movements. We're basically going to go through them. So Christina, I'm going to check the off section first. So we'll do the off movements. So basically I'll check some of them at the move just to see that you've got the date recorded, how many sheep, the holding that it's moved to. And if you can just find the animal AMLS and the EID print out with the numbers on.
Okay, no
That'd
problem.
be brilliant.
Yeah,
all right.
That's fine.
So we'll go through there. Just check first. She's obviously got all the details filled out on the keeper details section, which is brilliant. Everything's there. Right, okay. So my first one is the 13th of December 2023. So we've got an off movement for 32, which I've got. We've got the correct date recorded in there. And the holding number obviously is a market, which is H&H market. If you've got a license and the EID sheet for that, that'll be great.
30th of the 12th, 20.
Yeah, so we've got, right, so we've got an EID sheet. It's actually only got 31 on the EID, but we've got a written number here as well, which is great. So all numbers are recorded. So I would normally write, so we've obviously seen the EID sheet, tick that off, one written, covers them all, and we've got the license. License written with all the flock numbers on there as well and all the correct details. Okay, that's the AML. Happy. In here, we've actually referenced it, Christina has as well. She's got the number on there, which is 121. So in the record book, just to identify obviously all the individual numbers, it's referenced to sheet number 121. Okay, that's great. Thank you for that. So we've got an on movement here on my sheet that we need to check, which is the 1st of November 2023. This is for 21 sheep. So if I find it in the records, okay. So we've got 1st of November 2023. It's actually referenced to sheep 112, which is brilliant. So we've got it in the records. I can tick that. And have you got a license for that as well? So reference 112. We've got 21 sheep on there, so the EID sheet is there, it's present and correct. And we have a license, which is the on, obviously it's a pink sheet, with the 21 on there as well. So that's the license and the EID. Brilliant, captured them. On completion of the movement check, the field officer will go through the holding register and check all other sheep and goat requirements and their sections. Biosecurity is obviously very important. All field officers will thoroughly disinfect when they arrive on the holding, or obviously before there's any contact with any animals. This procedure will be followed obviously before they leave the farm. This is just basically to prevent disease travelling from farm to farm. We're very cautious of this, so all field officers should follow this procedure on every visit. A field officer is required to complete a full head count on the holding. This includes all categories of sheep and goats. As a farmer, you're required to show the field officer all parcels, all buildings where you obviously keep sheep or goats. A full head count will obviously be completed by the field officer and all totals will be recorded. So a good tip for a farmer is obviously to record those totals. So if we have top field, 20 ewes, 20 lambs, 1 tup. Middle field, 30 store sheep, 5 lambs. And the big shed, we've got 20 fat lambs.
Field officers will then reconcile the head counts with annual inventory figures, births, deaths, off and on movements.
Part of the physical check, we have to do a sample check, which is a representative sample of 60 sheep across the flock, or obviously a herd of goats if we have goats. This can be anything from bought-in ewes, homebred ewes, tups or stores. Obviously they'll be brought in for us to read the tags. A field officer will use a common sense approach. So obviously if you have ewes with small lambs at foot, these will be excluded from the sample to avoid mismothering and injury. So the sample batch have to be presented safely using adequate handling facilities, just like the ones here. These are a fantastic example. They can obviously be moved around. The field officer will then read the sheep with his EID wand and record them. We're going to have Christina's now going to bring in a batch of sheep. They do have some older lambs at foot, but obviously we'll work carefully with them, accommodate those, and read them in the race. If errors are found during the sample, then obviously we may have to increase that sample. I'm here with Farmer Christina, and today we're going to show you how we conduct the sample check. I will scan these sheep, Christina will let them out, and then we'll bring another batch through. Go on. Go on. All right. You do. Yeah, it's grand. Right, we've got a couple here with red replacement tags, which we will cover a little bit more detail in the video. These are a red replacement tag, so I can mark this on the reader, so a field officer will do this and obviously trace that red replacement tag back into the records. So we've obviously got a few here that have been replacement, possibly bought in and lost the tags. All right. That's them. Yeah, happy. We're good. I think we've got the number there. We're on to 60, which is great. We've got them. All right, you happy with that? Tagging's very good, so you obviously know what you're doing. We've got a few red replacement tags in there, so we'll obviously trace them back in your records. All right, just to see where you've recorded them. Possibly some bought-in suffix other that have obviously lost the tags. So, yeah, happy with that. Brilliant. So we'll talk a little bit about the trace back now after we've done the sample. Once the field officer is obviously satisfied with the sample that he's done, we'll then return and check the farm records to obviously see where those individual numbers have been recorded. If they were homebred animals, they would be recorded in the births and EID identification section of the flock register. If they are bought-in animals, they'll be obviously traced back to the actual on movement and when they were recorded in the book. So obviously it's an on movement, we would have a license for that movement and hopefully an EID tag sheet.
The field officer will perform a 10% check of all the tags scanned earlier.
So obviously today we did the sample check with your beautiful sheep, 60 of them. We've obviously got scanned off here. So I think we said they were round about 2021 born.
Yes, that's right.
So they should be as homebred ewes, obviously in the birth EID section of the Holden Register. So we'll just check, 10% check we have to do on these. So we do a bit of a random check down the list. So I shall go and click out the first ones. So we've got 3949. We run from 3931 to 3980 in that batch, so it should be in there. So that's the first one. Tick that one off. So the next one is 3944. So again, a 2021 born, and that runs from the same, it's in the same sequence, that one. We've got 3967, which is that one there. So 3967 obviously again runs in the same batch. So they are 2021 born. Okay, so we're just going to run through some of the sections in the Holden Register with Christina, just to see that she's got a procedure and you're aware of the requirements for each section, basically. Okay, so obviously the first one, we did cover this, but she's got all her details filled out. So as long as everything on there is right, you've obviously got your Holden number, your flock number, the address, and the farm name, which is brilliant. Replacement tags. So basically, we just need to see that you're kind of aware of the procedure for basically replacing and recording anything that's on the Holden. So basically, if an old ewe loses its tag, a homebred ewe, obviously you can tag it with the next sequence tag. If that ewe is obviously bought in, then obviously she should be replaced with a red replacement tag.
Yes.
Okay, so every time that happens, whether it's a bought in tup or a bought in ewe, you should obviously record this. So I'm just going to check to see that she has got it recorded. So we've obviously got a couple of pages checked out here, which you've obviously done. Your last one you've had done. So we've got the 20th of March. There was actually 11 red replacements there, and they run in sequence. Lost tags, old ewes, and bought in. So there's obviously a couple of them been done in there. We've got a comment. So that's good. You've covered yourself with that one. Fantastic. Next page. So bursting identification, we've obviously touched upon that when we've done the sample check. You're using it in the right way. So are you comfortable? You're happy with this section?
I am, yes.
So again, it's just making sure anything that's ID'd, obviously with a electronic tag, a non-electronic tag, that they're written in here. Any slaughter tags, obviously batch recorded. So as long as you've got them in here as well, which it looks like you have, you've got them right in this book that go right back to before 2020 through till probably last year. Obviously last year's spring lambs that were done for the breeding lambs that I kept on the Holden. So that's great for that section. We'll nip through. We've now got the deaths, the dreaded deaths. Obviously we get a lot of them on farm, unfortunately, in sheep. So it looks like you're obviously following everything here. So again, date of death, the month and year is acceptable. Sometimes we do put the full in. Full ear tag if you've got it. If they're still tagged, if it's got a tag in its ear, obviously Christina's got them in here, which is great. And we have got the disposal route as well, which is great. So you obviously use warrants here, and it's good. You keep the slips, so that's there for another requirement. But yeah, brilliant. You've got them. The last death we've got was back in. I think we've got one recently there as well. So back at the beginning of May there, unfortunately, something's died. So yeah, brilliant. Death section covered. We've done the offs and the ons. Brilliant with what you've got there. You've got all the full details. Brilliant. Ons is done as well. And we'll nip through. So annual inventory. So obviously each year, 1st of December, you should be obviously recording and reporting what you have as the annual figure. So that is basically your full head count of everything on the farm, whether they're homebred, bought in, lambs, tups, everything that you've got. You should hopefully receive in November a notification of that. So if you haven't, then obviously you can log on and fill that in. So I could take any details if you haven't, but all we want to see is that you've recorded it in the annual inventory section, which you have hopefully. So we have down 1st of 12th 2023, we've got 450 ewes here, 650 slaughter lambs, and we've got 5 tups written on there as well, recorded 1st of December 2023. That's brilliant.
A field officer will ask you if you have use of any other holdens, commons or grazing land that have animals under your keepership. Should you have land that requires a valid TLA, You'll have to provide evidence of this document to the field officer. For any holdings that are separate to the main holding, movements must be recorded in a separate flock/herd register.
So obviously, so your tags on the farm, you've obviously got a mix there. You've got,
Yeah.
I can see some slaughter tags, your breeding tags, and obviously your red replacements.
Yeah.
Do you keep them? Are they kept safe?
They're kept locked in the office, yes.
Right,
So-
that's great. That's okay. Are you happy with them? You know exactly what they're all used for?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Okay. So for the purpose of the video, we'll just quickly go. So we have a red replacement tag, which is obviously what we've touched upon. So these are the tags that are used in the replacement section. So these are one EID, one non-EID, with the holding flock number and an individual number. They'll obviously be recorded if they're put in as a replacement. All right. So we've also got, so these are your breeding tags. So we have one electronic, one non-electronic. For any breeding female lambs that are kept on the holding for obviously for breeding going forward. So again, we have an electric tag and a non-electronic tag with the matching individual number. Okay. These ones are our slaughter tags. So these just have the UK flock mark written on them. There's no individual number. They have got a chip in there. So obviously if they are red, that will produce the individual identification number. But yeah, as long as you're happy with that, I think that's great. We've had a great day. Some fantastic records. And just want to say thank you very much for having us. Took a lot of your time up, but I hope we've kind of worked with you. It's been good, really enjoyable. So no, thank you very much. Thank you. Cheers.
Once the visit is completed, the field officer will discuss their findings with you and where necessary will give you guidance on how to correct any errors. So please feel confident to ask our field officer questions and they'll support you with any queries you may have. The RPA will send you a copy of the report form which will detail the whole visit, including any guidance provided. If there are no discrepancies on the report, the keeper will just get a summary and the signposting tab. If discrepancies are found, the keeper gets the complete report.
So we've made this video as a helpful guide. I hope you've found it informative and useful. As field officers, we're all here to help and support you, and I hope we've given you a good understanding of the sheep and goat requirements. And obviously just reach out, please reach out. If we can help you with anything, then we're all here. We've obviously got a lot of links on the video. But yeah, thank you very much. And a massive thank you to the Gregory family at Spring Hill Farm and also Christina Johnson at Fowlbury Farm, Bamborough. Both been fantastic and accommodating us today. And I think they found it very useful and they've had a good insight into how a sheep and goat visit should be carried out.